Hello, hello, everybody. How are you? How is your summer holiday? It's been half of the summer holiday. What do you do? How do you feel about that? And do you have any plans for the weekend? Can you please type in the chat box? Do you have any plans for the weekend? What are you doing this summer holiday? During your summer holiday? So what are the plans? Hello, hello. Hello, everything is okay. I'm going to visit my grandmom. Oh yeah, I'm going to go. I don't know when, maybe today or tomorrow. I'm going to go to my hometown to spend some time outdoors, to spend some time with my family, with my um, friends, parents-in-law. Also, I'm going to visit. That's why I'm going to make brownie today as a sweet treat for them, for everybody. Right, that's will be a lot today. I'm going to make a lot of brownie. Good. After my work, after I'm going to check your homeworks, and I'm going to make brownie today. Oh, Denise is preparing to go on a picnic. Cool. Yeah, the weather is good to go on a picnic. Good. How do you feel about it's only 1 month and a half left for your studying? How do you feel about that? Do you have any plan to escape school? Or do you miss school? Do you miss school or not? Okay, good. Nobody writes. I'm just relaxing, Katya, right? Oh, it's good. Relaxing is the best activity. No, I don't. I want to go on vacation, right? Uh, on vacation. Do you want to go? Do you want to go on a trip? Yeah, maybe some. Yeah, I also want. I plan to go on vacation in August somewhere, but I don't know when exactly, but in August for sure. I have online school, so I don't worry about that. Okay. Uh, just generally go into any school is a very stressful period. Fine. Thanks a lot for your reactions. Thanks a lot. I miss school because I'm studying math and want to get good marks. Okay, Vlad, right. fine. So today I was planning to look at a very new, I should say, topic connected with our mind and connected with our mindset, the way we look at different things. So I will open. Right. So today we are going to look at two different types of mindsets. There are two different of them, and the research was conducted by a Stanford professor, Carol Dweck, and the results are pretty much interesting. That's why we are going to concentrate on this study a little bit in details. But let's pencil in the agenda of today's webinar. We are going to have a discussion. It won't be very small discussion, but it will be quite extensive in order to understand to get the hang of the topic of today's webinar. I'm going to talk. After that, we are going to look at the difference between fixed and growth mindsets. After that, we are going to look at the disadvantages of fixed mindset. And after that, I'm going to concentrate a little bit on the strategies, how to shift to the growth mindset. And to give some tips, my pieces of advice of self-reflection, self-insight, and analyzing your mindset after all. Right. So let's start with the discussion. Can you type in the chat box the first answer to the question, what's your biggest talent? What's your biggest talent? Something that you were born with, something that you have from the very birth. So I think that my biggest talent is not like biggest, but my talent is being organized. For example, whenever I have some external plans, for example, some events or occasions or appointments or any other stuff, and I have my own business, so I usually neglect my own business in order to be on time for these events or occasions. No matter what, I will be there all the time. Like, no matter what, I will be there on time. That's a rule for me. And I have this like organization, self-organization to put these external issues over my own business. And I think it's a talent because not all people can do that, can be devoted to this stuff regardless of your own business and plans. So I think I consider it to be my talent. Masha writes that riding a horse, dancing and achieving goals. Good. Katya, Masha, right. What about dancing or actually about riding a horse? Is it something that you were born with, or is it something that you practiced a lot? Can you and if you practiced it a lot, is it a talent, or is it just a good skill that you have? Being a leader, Masha, right? Oh, it's good. Sonia, tennis. Vlad, learning text very fast. Oh, wow. Learning by heart, right? Good. Yeah, so this one, being a leader, learning texts, achieving goals, all this is All this is our talents, right? Something that they were born with. Good. Thanks a lot. Speaking about the next question, what are some spheres, things, or activities you were extremely good at? You are good at running fast, Robert writes. What are spheres and things you are good at? For example, I'm good at learning languages, and I think I have this skill that I developed over the time. I developed my own strategies to different kinds of learning the language, like grammar or vocabulary, or something that really, really uh, are good for me and are very convenient for me. So I think that I'm good at this stuff. What about you? Vlad, programming, right? Robert, running fast. Good, being good at, right? So what you especially good at? I have really good memory. I can remember text for 10 pages after reading it once. Oh, right. Being good at this, having a good memory is a talent, right? Okay. Good memory, right. Let's go to another question. Is there anything you will never be good at? Why do you think so? You will never be good at. For example, I will never be good at spending money wisely. I usually, when I have time, I have to spend this money. I have to spend this money, and I spend it on unnecessary things. Really, I spend on something that I don't need. I don't need just from the very beginning or from the very purchase, or I spend it on the I spend on something that I won't use, for example, in a month. So kind of not very good idea to do that. So I think I won't be good at this thing. I will, under no circumstances will I be good at this stuff. Also, I won't be, it seems to me, good at music and all kinds of activities connected with music, because I don't have this innate ability for music. What about you? Things you will never be good at. Drawing, I can't do it. I even went to the art school, but I can't. Right. I'm also very bad at drawing, and it seems to me that I won't be good at drawing. So it's like impossible for me. It's a very unrealistic goal. It's for me, it's just impossible. What about others? Nothing, because everyone can do everything, but we need to want it. Right. I really like this attitude towards stuff that you can't do. And I appreciate, I really admire people who say that, So I'm very grateful to have to know people who can do such stuff. Okay, good. And let's have a look at the last question. Is there any skill or activity you would really love to learn, but you think you will never be able to? Why do you think it's impossible for you? Is there any skill or activity you would really love to learn, but you think you will never be able to do it? For example, I would really love to learn how to spend money wisely, but I understand it's impossible because I have this I don't know, I have this desire to whenever I have the money on my hands and I want to spend it, but I understand that that kind of I shouldn't, but I want. And I think I would never really will be able to do that. But I developed a strategy not to spend it at all. It's like, okay, I will um, realize that I don't need it. I don't need different things, and I won't spend money on this stuff. Drawing also. Masha, drawing also, right? Okay, right. Thanks a lot. So we were talking about some of the talents, some skills that you are good at, something that you would will never be able to do it. If you want to do something that you can't, um, sometimes we fail to do things. Sometimes we have some failures on our way to achieving to picking up some skills. So can you please write in the type in the chat box, how do you approach failures? How do you feel when you fail? How do you usually do it? Do you feel depressed, upset, or vice versa? Do you feel motivated, or do you consider it to be the part of the process? So what's your attitude towards failures? But there are too many buttons, lot, right? Photoshop. So how do you approach failures? Right? So, for example, speaking about me, I usually get very upset, but in some days I realize that it's just the part of the process and you have to deal with it. You have to move on. Otherwise, you will be demotivated and you won't do even this. Um, Not only this thing you won't do, but you will also kind of have this attitude towards other stuff, and you won't also be able to manage to learn different stuff. Not only this one, but I'm angry with myself, but later I'm training a lot to achieve this goal. Robert writes he's motivated because of failure. Great, right. Good. Thanks a lot, everybody. Of course, failures can be painful, but does it define you and prevent you from learning from your mistakes, or does it serve as a powerful mechanism to embrace new challenges? Our mind plays a very powerful role in what we believe and how we think. What we think about ourselves and our abilities decides how we act and lead our life. When you look at successful people or those who have achieved mastery in life, what do you tell yourself? They are more gifted than others. They have more talents. Their innate abilities made them successful. They have a major stroke of luck. Or, or do you believe success comes from hard work, developing new strategies, drawing inspiration from others, getting good mentoring, investing in learning, and through constant improvement? So, which person are you? The first or the second? Um, uh, but we need to know that that it isn't the end. After that, you can try again and again until good result. Good, Denise. It's a very good idea. Right. What you believe is what you achieve. Conscious or unconscious, how you choose to interpret your experiences can set the boundaries on what you can accomplish. It's a very simple and easy but sound idea of what we have in our head. There's power in believing that you can improve and accomplish what you set out to achieve by looking at failures and setbacks as a medium for growth. It's being resilient in the face of challenging circumstances with unintended consequences. So, how do we shift ourselves from being limited by our own abilities and intelligence to finding freedom in building them? How do we commit to a path of learning and growth? Before we go to this stuff, we have to find out the difference between two types of mindsets that were found by a Stanford University professor, Carol Dweck. There are two types of mindsets, fixed and growth. So let's have a look at the difference between them. A person with a fixed mindset is constrained by their beliefs and thoughts. They believe people are born with special talents and every person has different abilities and intelligence that cannot get better with time, persistence, effort, and hard work. So these people, they belong to, they believe in nature but not nurture. They believe that that their genes define their destiny. They believe that they don't believe, but they crater under this genetic pressure. They think that all their talents, skills, abilities, they are innate, they are born with them, and they can't change their destiny. They think of failures as validation of their lack of abilities and intelligence that prevent them from achieving their goals. They give up easily with the fear of failure and the belief that they cannot improve. A person with a growth mindset finds freedom in their thoughts and beliefs. They understand that certain people have special talents and that intelligence varies from person to person. But it's also something that can be developed and increased and enhanced with effort and hard work. They take joy in the learning process that comes from seeking new information, forming new strategies, taking inspiration from others, developing new skills and others. They embrace difficulties and challenges as the means to develop, to pick up new skills and to soak up new knowledge. Right. So let's have a look at the difference between the growth mindset and the fixed one, and the key peculiarities of each of them. Fixed mindset is limiting. You have to understand that people with the fixed mindset, they believe that all the talents, abilities, intelligence, they are fixed. It's who we are. Running from errors, not engaging with it, and the desire and having the desire to look smart, avoiding challenges and consequently giving up easily, feeling threatened by the success of others, ignoring negative feedback and constructive criticism, even though it may be highly relevant and useful, avoiding new experiences with fear of failure, looking for people who can reinforce their self-esteem, focusing on the outcome, since not paying attention to the process in general. And also, these people are prone to cheating and decepting. People with growth mindset are free. They have a desirable freedom. Talents, abilities, and intelligence can be developed through effort and practice. Being engaged deeply in the process and accepting errors with the desire to correct these errors, embracing challenges, perseverance in the face of failures and setbacks, finding inspiration in others' success, accepting constructive criticism as the way to learn, embracing novelty with the desire to master new skills. So being extremely open-minded to the novelties and other stuff. Looking for people who challenge them to grow, not forming their self-esteem and influencing them negatively, but looking for people who can challenge them, who are a bit better than you are, that promote healthy competitiveness and healthy development. Focusing on the process and learning without worrying about the outcome. And being close to collaboration and innovation. So all this stuff are main peculiarities of both mindsets. So I'm going to cite the beautiful Carol Dweck, who talks about two different mindsets. She beautifully sums up, and the person decides what mindset to choose and what mindset to embrace. When you enter a mindset, you enter a new world. In one world, the world of fixed traits, success is about proving you are smart or talented, validating yourself. In the other, the world of changing qualities, it's about stretching yourself to learn something new, developing yourself. In one world, failure is about having a setback, getting bad grade, losing a tournament, getting rejected, getting fired. It means you are not smart or talented enough. In the other world, failure is about not growing, not reaching for the things you value. It means you are not fulfilling your potential. In one world, effort is a bad thing. Oh, sorry. In one world, effort is a bad thing. It's like failure means you are not smart or talented. If you were, you wouldn't need effort. In the other world, effort is what makes you smart or talented. You have a choice. Mindsets are just beliefs. They're powerful beliefs, but they're just something in your mind and you can change your mind. Right. So, beautiful person who conducted the research that helped people to understand their people's real nature. Oh, sorry. What? So we are going to look at Carol Dweck and her pieces of her TED Talk. She's going to present some. She's going to present the results of her study and to present some proofs of both of having both mindsets. So let's look.
The power of yet. I heard about a high school in Chicago where students had to pass a certain number of courses to graduate. And if they didn't pass a course, they got the grade not yet. And I thought that was fantastic because if you get a failing grade, you think, I'm nothing, I'm nowhere. But if you get the grade not yet, you understand that you're on a learning curve. It gives you a path into the future. I wanted to see how children coped with challenge and difficulty. So I gave 10-year-olds problems that were slightly too hard for them. Some of them reacted in a shockingly positive way. They said things like, I love a challenge, or, I was hoping this would be informative. They understood that their abilities could be developed. They had what I call a growth mindset. But other students felt it was tragic, catastrophic. From their more fixed mindset perspective, their intelligence had been up for judgment and they failed. In one study, they told us they would probably cheat the next time instead of studying more if they failed a test. In another study, after a failure, they looked for someone who did worse than they did so they could feel really good about themselves. And in study after study, they have run from difficulty. Scientists measured the electrical activity from the brain as students confronted an error. On the left, you see the fixed mindset students. There's hardly any activity. They run from the error. They don't engage with it. But on the right, you have the students with the growth mindset, the idea that abilities can be developed. They engage deeply. Their brain is on fire with yet. They process the error. They learn from it and they correct it. We recently teamed up with game scientists from the University of Washington to create a new online math game that rewarded yet. In this game, students were rewarded for effort, strategy, and progress. The usual math game rewards you for getting answers right now, but this game rewarded process. And we got more effort, more strategies, more engagement over longer periods of time, and more perseverance when they hit really, really hard problems. Just the words yet or not yet, we're finding, give kids greater confidence, give them a path into the future that creates greater persistence. And we can actually change students' mindsets. In one study, we taught them that every time they push out of their comfort zone, to learn something new and difficult, the neurons in their brain can form new, stronger connections. And over time, they can get smarter. We have shown this now, this kind of improvement with thousands and thousands of kids, especially struggling students. Here are just a few examples. In 1 year, a kindergarten class in Harlem, New York, scored in the 95th percentile on the National Achievement Test. Many of those kids could not hold a pencil when they arrived at school. In 1 year, fourth grade students in the South Bronx, way behind, became the #1 fourth grade class in the state of New York on the state math test. This happened because the meaning of effort and difficulty were transformed. Before, effort and difficulty made them feel dumb, made them feel like giving up. But now, effort and difficulty, that's when their neurons are making new connections, stronger connections. That's when they're getting smarter.
Right. She's inspiring, really. She gives the whole understanding of the research she was conducting and gives the understanding of something that we want to know. Right. So speaking about fixed mindset, let's have a look at the disadvantages of the mindset. Every person from the very early age shows the signs or insignias of the mindset he or she has, whether it's a fixed or a growth mindset. And that's why if you identify, if somebody from the parents identifies these mindsets, so it's very easy, it's easy to shift a little bit this mindset, right? So don't really worry about getting the best scores. Look for constant validation of their ideas. Refuse to put in more effort or are scared to try hard problems with the fear that they might fail. That's a fixed mindset. This mindset refrains them from developing new skills, exploring new solutions, what else? Devising different plans and new strategies, and most important, dream bigger. They will be quick to label their struggle with a particular subject. I'm simply not good enough. I can't get better even if I try. Instead of putting in their best effort to cope up with the challenge or difficulty, they will be simply given to the self-doubt. Right. So, concluding this all, I would like to present you several strategies or 5 strategies to help you somehow identify and shift your mindset. A common misconception about growth mindset is that being open-minded and flexible is being growth-minded. That's not true. These, of course, are important qualities to have, but they don't themselves make someone growth-minded. It's also not possible to apply a growth mindset all the time. During challenging circumstances or when dealing with a feeling of insecurity, we may get defensive and adopt a fixed mindset to deal with the conflict. So it's very important to identify when it's okay to have a fixed mindset, because during during these stressful and problematic occasions, it's okay, it's natural, it's an instinct to have a fixed mindset. But if you need to identify the situation when you have to switch off your fixed mindset. It's also not possible to apply a growth mindset all the time. During challenging circumstances or when dealing with the feeling of insecurity, you can identify different triggers that activate this fixed mindset. The critical thing is to recognize important situations which can set off this mindset and learn to switch it off to growth one. So shifting from self-doubt to potential for growth, from worrying about the outcomes to taking interest in the process, acting as a victim in the drama triangle to adopting a role of a creator by taking responsibility, from fear of failures to learning through them. So here are the 5 stuff. The first one is story. Choose a story to tell yourself. Choose a different story. There is a lot of power in the story you tell yourself. What do you tell yourself? Do you have a choice? Are you smart or intelligent enough to learn new things? Do you feel challenges lift you up or bring you down? So all this, everything makes up the story you tell yourself. When we come across hard problems or difficult situations, how we interpret or react to them is based on your own story. Our actions are nothing but a manifestation of your beliefs. So the first step to enable a growth mindset is to learn a new story. Our actions to learn a new story, make a choice and shift the language you use. Instead of telling yourself, I'm not good at it, or I am who I am, I can't do it, I give up because it's beyond me, I don't have the ability to learn, or I can't do it, this is frustrating, or this is very hard, I have fixed potential and fixed ability, I can't develop anymore. Choose to say, I can do better. It's okay to fail. I will try to, and I will not give up. I want to explore new things and discover different stuff. I believe in myself. I just don't know yet. Yet is very important, as Carol Dweck said. Just choose another language and you will see major results. Another one, set learning goals as opposed to performance goals. Commit to learning every day as opposed to seeking goals that prove your worth. For example, instead of setting a goal to lose 30 kilograms, commit to practicing and doing exercises every day. Instead of scoring A on some test, commit to practicing every day for this subject. Instead of the goal of being a professional runner, just commit to running every day. Focus on the process as opposed to the outcome. It helps to look for small continuous improvements over time that will add up over a period of time into a major result. By shifting to learning, we can consciously choose a path in which hard work, effort, deliberate practice, and persistence will be the key to success. Success, you have to understand that success doesn't come in a day. It's the result of years of hard work in which learning never ends. Capitalize on your failures. Failures teach us what success count. Instead of running away from failures and giving up when faced with a setback, you can take advantage of your failures by reviewing them, identifying what didn't work, and devising a strategy or a plan to correct this mistake. Apply multiple mental models like inversion principle, which is a really good one. Inversion principle. Or a second order thought. You can look at these two principles and mental models and write PM or DM me in the private messages on your platform and present some examples or the explanations of these models so I can read about your attitude and attitude towards this topic. Right. They will help you to develop strategies seeking for help and guidance from other people, to review your decisions and commit to growing better with every defeat. Once you set your mind to look at failures as the means to learn and grow instead of considering them as a limitation of your abilities, you will be able to capitalize and benefit from them. Right. Choose Goldilocks tasks to continue for a continuous improvement. There is a difference between seeking challenges and setting out to do what's impractical and possibly impossible. If you try to climb a mountain with a proper physical strength, or if you want to solve trigonometry without learning algebra or geometry, or if you I don't know, if you do something which is possibly there is no way you will succeed, it's just impractical. It's just waste of time. It's just a waste of time. Goldilocks tasks are activities that are neither too easy or nor too difficult, just a little over your current abilities. They provide a perfect opportunity to step outside your comfort zone without any additional anxiety. So when Carol Dweck told you about a little bit, the task with a little bit of the challenge, so these are the Goldilocks this is a Goldilocks principle. Goldilocks principle is applied everywhere, especially in language learning. When you come to the group and it's very easy for you, every lesson is just, you know everything. There is no point. If you want to do that, so it's a fixed mindset. There is no way you can progress because there is no way, you know everything. What's the point sitting here? So you are put in the stronger group so you can be challenged all the time. The challenge is a fruitful fundament for your progress, for your flourishing. By investing in Goldilocks tasks, you can set up a path for continuous improvement by slowly building upon your current abilities. Be consistent and flexible. You cannot shift from fixed mindset to a growth mindset in a day. Much like other things, it requires practice. Be consistent in self-reflection, in reflecting on your past behavior by asking yourself some of the important questions. How did you act last time? Did you notice any fixed behavioral pattern? Why did you fail? Or what made you choose this mindset over this mindset? By asking yourself these questions on a regular basis and being flexible to learn from them, you can identify your fixed mindset trigger points and develop new strategies to adopt a growth mindset. I have my own, I have my own way. Usually when I have self-observations of my lessons, I have my previous notes and this time notes, and usually I compare them. I ask myself, what did I do last time to cope with this problem, with this or that problem? Did it help me, or do I have a fixed pattern that I want to get rid of, or I want to leave it out, to leave it just as it is? So I self-reflect, and it helps a lot to notice what I'm doing wrong or what I'm doing right. Also, that's something that depends on me. When I have situations that they don't necessarily depend on me, I can't change because, for example, delays of planes or trains, or the some problematic stuff with governmental institutions. So something that doesn't depend weather or exam, something that doesn't depend on me, and some problematic stuff appears, usually I ask myself after that, what did it teach me? What did I learn from this situation? What was good? How did I react? Was it positive or negative? Was it fixed or growth minded? And with the help of it, I identify what I would like to change, and um, what can be done better. These are the most obvious questions that I usually ask. And sometimes they help to avoid additional anxiety, stress, additional frustration or irritation, and it makes me calm, makes me self-reflective towards different stuff. So remember, all human beings are unique. What works for one may not work for others. What works for me may not work for you. Without being consistent and flexible in your own approach, you cannot develop a growth mindset. So I would like you to promote this strategy, to promote growth mindset in your own life, and don't run away from the fixed mindset, because it's the engine for your development. Don't embrace both of them, but remember to switch one or another in the proper time, in the right time. Good. So can you please type in the chat box what things or what tips or pieces of advice you learned from this webinar, and you think them to be the most useful for you. Can you type in the chat box which stuff or pieces of advice you consider to be the most useful from today's webinar? Or something with my chat. I don't know what happened. My chat doesn't work. I don't know what happened with it. Oh, good. Fine. So what about you? What was the most useful from today's webinar? Don't praise yourself. Don't praise your intelligence all the time. Current abilities and intelligence cannot be a sign of what you can or you can't do. That's a point. Recognize and appreciate process, engagement, strong indicators of the desire to learn. So praise the desire to learn and understand, notice it. Praise only the efforts that lead to the progress. But just effortless efforts just for the sake of effort is no good. It's just mollycoddling yourself. Vulnerability is not the weakness. You have to understand. It's a powerful mechanism to realize your full potential. So vulnerability is not a major weakness of your own. You have to understand it. Right. Make the right choice. Don't say, I don't know. Say, I don't know yet, because that's correct. You don't know yet, or you can't do it yet, but if you start learning, or if you start practicing, you will become good at it and you will learn it how to do it. That's a good one. Goldilocks tasks: choose, never give up. And I think it's much better to analyze your mistakes and achieve the goal. Right. Process your mistakes, understand what you have to do to correct it. Right. It's much better. Without more is not correct. Right. Enable yourself to realize the benefits of hard work, consistent effort, being resistant to them. You can also read the Carol Dweck's book. It's called I'm just looking for this book, but I don't remember it. Just a second. Right. It's Carol Dweck, Mindset: The New Psychology of Success, How We Can Learn to Fulfill Our Potential. It's a university course. Right, Masha? Thanks a lot for your reaction. Right. Very good. I like this author. She is very inspiring, and she's very scientific, not just like simple words that don't not just simple words that are said in usual self-help books, but they are proved, they are supported by the scientific experiments. Right. Thanks a lot for today. It was a pleasure to work with you. I really liked your communication with me. And see you on the next Friday.